So in criminal law, there are different kinds of conspiracies. What kind of conspiracy, what model of criminal conspiracy best characterizes what Donald Trump and his criminal cabal have been up to? Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So there's been some recent discussion about what kind of conspiracy, what model of criminal conspiracy best captures or characterizes the conduct of Donald Trump and his collection of democracy-killing criminal associates. Specifically, there is a new opinion piece in the New York Times by former federal prosecutor Andrew Weissman. You probably know Weissman. He was a member of Bob Mueller's team when Mueller was special counsel running the Trump-Russia investigation. And you've probably heard me talk about the fact that Bob Mueller was my boss, my direct supervisor, when Mueller was the chief of homicide at the D.C. U.S. Attorney's Office. Weissman's new opinion piece in the New York Times is titled, "Merrick Garland Should Investigate Trump's 2020 Election Schemes as a Hub and Spoke Conspiracy." Now, I'm glad this issue is resurfacing, and I absolutely agree with Weissman's take that a hub and spoke conspiracy is the best model of conspiracy to use against Trump and his criminal cabal. And what I want to do is go back to a video that I posted in April where I tried to do a deep dive on precisely why a hub and spoke conspiracy model is exactly what is at play with Trump and company. But before I go to that video, I want to take a minute to give a shout out to the person who put together the graphics for this hub and spoke conspiracy video. His name is Peter Soby, and I call him our Team Justice video editor extraordinaire. That's Peter. I got to spend some time with him out in California last week. Peter is a quadriplegic, a high quad, as a result of a diving accident decades ago. And Peter now travels around to schools and children's hospitals giving public safety speeches about the dangers, the potential dangers of diving, and giving motivational speeches about dealing with adversity in one's life. And Peter is not only a gifted video editor, but he's an accomplished mouth painter, sponsored by the prestigious MFPA, Mouth and Foot Painting Artists Association. And he's also one of the most remarkable people I have the privilege of knowing and the honor of working with. So please consider giving Peter a follow. On Twitter, it's at Peter Soby. On Instagram, it's at Donut Spirit. And you can find Peter's website at www.petersoby.com. So to Peter, my brother in justice, thank you so much for your continued remarkable work as our Team Justice editor. Now, let's have a look at why a hub and spoke model of criminal conspiracy is dead on regarding what Trump and company have been doing to the United States of America. So let's talk about the different kinds of conspiracies that prosecutors use to bring criminal charges, the different models of conspiracy, and then try to figure out which one best characterizes the crimes of Donald Trump and company. But let's start by defining what a conspiracy is. A conspiracy is just two or more people who agree to commit a crime, and then one of those people doing at least one thing toward the commission of the crime, what we call an overt act. So the crime itself doesn't have to be accomplished. The crime of conspiracy is committed when two or more people agree to commit a crime and one person does something in the direction of the commission of that crime. Let's use a very basic example. Three guys want to rob a bank. So maybe one of the conspirators steals a car to use in the bank robbery. Another one gets a gun. And the three of them pile into the stolen car. They drive to the bank. One of the conspirators runs in and robs the bank. One of the conspirators serves as a lookout during the bank robbery, and the other one is sitting behind the wheel of the getaway car, prepared to drive away. That is a basic, simple conspiracy to commit bank robbery. Now, let's look at a conspiracy model that has a little bit more structure, and let's use the mafia, the mob, as an example. So a mob conspiracy might have a boss, a mob boss, a consigliere, a number of underbosses, a number of capos, captains, soldiers, and it very sort of loosely speaking looks like a pyramid, right? It has a hierarchy. It has designated roles, generally speaking, for the different members of the conspiracy. And that's kind of a pyramid conspiracy. And it's a conspiracy that can apply to any number of criminal organizations. It could be the mafia, the mob. It could be a business, a company, a corporation, an organization, Trump organization. It could be a criminal street gang. It could be a government agency, if a government agency was being run as a conspiracy to commit crimes. And then there's a lesser used model of conspiracy in the criminal law. It's called a hub and spoke conspiracy. And it is precisely what it sounds like. There is a hub, a central figure, and a series of spokes radiate out from that hub. And the spokes might not intersect with one another, might not know one another. The spokes may have never met one another, which is different from how we think of a pyramid conspiracy, right? If it's a mob organization, well, the underbosses are going to know the capos, are going to know the soldiers, they're all going to know the mob boss and the consigliere. They're all generally going to know one another. But in a hub and spoke conspiracy, the spokes often don't know one another, and there's no requirement for the spokes to know one another or to have all agreed to commit crimes with each other. In fact, in all conspiracies, judges will always instruct the jury that the members of a conspiracy don't even have to have met one another, as long as they all agree to commit crime and are working toward that common criminal goal. So when we think about a hub and spoke conspiracy, as distinguished from a pyramid conspiracy, that is precisely what captures the criminal organization, the conspiracy that I think best defines what Donald Trump and company have been doing. Donald Trump is the hub. Let's dig in and let's talk about who the spokes are in Donald Trump's hub and spoke conspiracy. Well, let's start with Steve Bannon, right, and his war council at the Willard Hotel. Roger Stone and his, palling around with the Proud Boys. The nationalist white supremacist groups who were involved in attacking the Capitol on January 6th, like, Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys, Elmer Rhodes and the Oath Keepers, and others. There are treasonous lawyers like John Eastman, who authored that memo, How to Coup for Fun and Profit and Power. Lawyers like Jeffrey Clark, the Department of Justice official who corrupted and weaponized the DOJ to try to help Donald Trump unlawfully retain power. There's Trump's lawyers like Rudy Giuliani and Sidney Powell and Jenna Ellis, who filed baseless, fraudulent lawsuits attacking the election's results. There's the Peter Navarro and Dan Scavino spoke, both recently referred for criminal prosecution for contempt of Congress, and Navarro with his clever bit of treason that he calls the Green Bay sweep. There are the fake electors, like Jake Hoffman from Arizona, Amy Facinello from Michigan, Burt Jones from Georgia, and others. There's Mark Meadows. He gets his own spoke. He's like the switchboard for patching through treasonous calls and text messages. Mark Meadows here. How can I direct your treasonous call? We need a big old spoke for Donald Trump's lackeys in Congress. Recall when DOJ officials told Donald Trump there is no evidence of fraud. The election was not stolen. Donald Trump said, I don't care. Just say it was, and leave the rest to me and my allies in Congress. Jim Jordan, Andrew Clyde, he of it was just a normal tourist visit that day. How about others who engaged in giving aid and comfort to the insurrection? Ted Cruz, Lil Josh Hawley with his encouragement to and solidarity with the Capitol attackers as the attack was unfolding. How about the insiders at the Ellipse? There's a spoke. Mo Brooks, Rudy Redo, assorted Trumps, including Don Jr. Of course, Don Jr. gets his own spoke, right? With his deeply treasonous text to Mark Meadows before the votes were even counted. Before a winner was projected, Donald Trump Jr. texted Mark Meadows, my father's second term must start now. How about the Ginny and Clarence Thomas spoke? She pressing Mark Meadows in text messages to corruptly overturn the election's results, and he sitting on the Supreme Court trying to bury his wife's deeply damaging texts. And friends, that's far from all-inclusive. That's just a representative sample of some of the spokes in Donald Trump's hub and spoke conspiracy to commit offenses against the United States. That is the kind of conspiracy charge the Department of Justice must bring to protect and preserve our democracy. The kind of conspiracy charge that will give us a shot. It will give us a fighting chance at keeping our republic. The kind of conspiracy charge that will help bring justice for what Donald Trump and his co-conspirators have put us through for the last 4+ years. Come on, DOJ. The facts are in. The law is clear. So let's roll. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.